Alright. Welcome back to a brand new video of the Targeting Video program. Targeting Video Skills. Targeting Video program. In the noise campaign. So, they are up to their old tricks again, using Pam, of course. She comes in the house, doesn't say anything to me. I'm in the kitchen. And she comes in the house. I'm in the kitchen. She comes, stands up in front of the kitchen entrance. Literally took her clothes off in front of me. Like literally, took her clothes off her. You know, she's wearing a dress. Basically, pop open her dress in front of me, and I'm looking at her like, like they are so desperate on there. I'm like, they are really, really desperate. And came back into the kitchen as I went to use the bathroom, going to leave. Came back into the kitchen in her tank top and underwear, and I'm just like, see, this is the type of shit that they do. This is the behavior that they'll have her engage in. And I'm just like, so you did all that for what? Right? You did all that for what? I didn't even say nothing to me at all. I've not said, since she walked in the house, not hello, good night, nothing. So she came looking dead at my face. So I didn't say nothing either. And as I'm getting my, getting ready to go, she comes into the foyer and burst up against me. I'm just like, I'm looking at her like, okay, not once, but twice. And right, not once, but twice. And you know, I ain't say nothing. I said good night. She ain't say anything to me at all. I said good night again, and it was like she was, you know, like she didn't want to talk to me. I'm like, listen, again, I keep telling you, when you follow these people and their destructive mindset, this is what they do. This is what they do, and this is how they do it. But you're a dumbass. You know, I understand they're using your employment to manipulate you, to control you. It's one of the coercive, using your job as a tool to control you, because they understand, like I said, particularly when it comes to our women, right? The fact that they're giving them jobs and promotions, but it's only to manipulate them. It's only to control them, so that they can destroy their family, the men in their group, and their children. Right? I was talking to Al. I said, you know, our daughter has not gone to school for an entire 5 days out of the week since the school semester started. Okay? The most she's been to school in 1 week is 3 days. And that's not consistently. All right? Now, where are the teachers that are calling? Where are, you know, when my daughter went to therapy and the therapist asked Pam if I'm a disciplinarian, and she said yes. And the therapist asked, does your dad hit you? And my daughter said he hit me one time and I had a mark on my leg. And they opened up a child abuse case against me. Which I gotta laugh because, you know, here's the thing, right? They don't want us to discipline our children. When I say discipline, not abuse. Right? I don't abuse my children. Right? But these women abuse their children in ways that they don't see as abuse, like ignoring their children's education. right? Ignoring their mental health. Yes, our children is in therapy for issues that she failed to realize it would be rectified if she at least compromised when it comes to our children. In terms of cleaning up her apartment, keeping it clean, getting up in the morning, taking the kids to school, stop verbally abusing our daughter. Because I could imagine when I'm not there what she's saying to my daughter. When I'm there, she'll tell her, I hate you. And I have to correct her on that and make her apologize. So I could imagine, right? So again, they would rather, the police discipline their children or the system discipline their children. In this case, I'm talking about the school to prison pipeline, right? Then they want to get up there with tears in their eyes, wondering how come, right? While ignoring the fact that they abandon their children. They abandon their emotional needs, their educational needs, their psychological needs, because they want to go out there and have fun. Whether they be in the churches, dragging their children to church 4 or 5 times a week, right? Not understanding the physical and the psychological detrimental toll that it takes. I don't know what the hell she's doing because they have her there. They target me. Look at her. Look. Well, she was waiting for the car to go. It was a BMW. All right. So, because when the car passed by, she looked at the vehicle and then started to ride her scooter. Right. So, anyway, as I was saying, and the weaponization of our children, and because they don't quite understand what's going on. All right, and how it is and what it is that they do. But like I said, anything they do to me will be done exactly back to them. Any and everything. Okay? So, let them go ahead with their coercive threats. All right? Banging on their ass if they want to bang on whoever. Bang on them back. All right? And they hate the fact that they can't control you, particularly when you are aware and you're awakened of their scheme, of their tactics and their methods. And so, like I said, when they want to engage in their threats, you give them the same threat back. So when they want to threaten you psychologically, you threaten them back psychologically. Right? When they want to walk up to you and make their finger like their gun. Look. HMK 2325, New York Predators Department. Oh yeah. That's right. When they want to engage in threats, bang on their asses too. Alright? The villainization of target individuals, then villainize their ass too. They want to lie on you, lie on them back. They want to accuse you of things, accuse them of things also. Simple as that. Okay? They want to engage in honey trapping, do the honey trap to them also. Followed by the coercive threat or false accusation. Was it 3-2? Yeah, so. Right? Like I said, there ain't no fear here. Right? They want to engage in assassination threats. We send their asses assassination threats. They want to follow through on it. We follow through on it. Simple as that. It is a different era. Right? Sadly, the Nigerians will never learn because they are too indoctrinated with the lies that they don't even understand and see what's going on and what's being done. Right? You cannot engage in this sort of behavior and think that there's no repercussion, including those who are in positions of authority. There have to be some repercussion given to them as well, including the churches, the pastors in the churches. There have to be some repercussion given to them as well. Right? They're the ones that's dividing the society. Right? Because the white racist is using them to do exactly that, to divide black people. The wheelchair theme. Right? So understand what's going on. They will, like I said, when you speak the truth, they will say you hate. Shit, I don't hate. But I will hate your ass if you hate me. I will hate your ass if you hate my people. And I don't care who you is. If you come to me with hate, which they've been doing, don't expect me to turn my back on you. I'll turn the other cheek. Okay, I'm not going to allow you to put that knife in my back. Okay, I'll put it in your chest. Understand that. I will not turn my back and allow you to put that knife in my back. I'm not turning my back to you. All right? I'm not turning the other cheek either. Understand that. Look, where we see the UPS truck. I got a delivery coming tomorrow. Look. Here's the wheelchair theme. See? See the coercive threats? That's where you see the New York Predator Department. When I talk about the violation of my, I should say the invasion and violation of my privacy, and using coercive threats, right, of theft. All right, so I always talk about whenever I order something and is the delivery coming? Right? There's a delivery coming. What they will do? They will engage in the coercive threats, right? That's who they are. But like I said, try again. Try again. Right? Try again. I keep telling you, they keep proving me right. Right? They keep proving me right. Followed by a red vehicle. Right? They keep proving me right. I'm not gonna get angry. I'm gonna get angry. I should be angry. Right? You ain't never gonna pacify me. It ain't never gonna happen. You will never pacify me. All right? Understand that. All right? I understand that. All right? There's a saying, freedom or death. That's my motto. We as a people, that should be our motto. Freedom or death. Fight against those who oppress us. Fight against those who continue to abuse us. Fight against those who continue to assault us in many different ways. Fight against those who try to sabotage us. So if they sabotage us, we sabotage them. Right? If they sabotage us, we sabotage them. If they assault us, we assault them. Look, using the young, look over there. They're using these young nigger paying females. It's always the same shit they do, same tactics. Right? Same method of behavior. Right? And yet they feel justified. Well, I'm gonna feel justified in doing what I need to do when they engage in this sort of behavior. I'm gonna feel very, very justified, and I'm gonna be justified. Right? Look, light-skinned Keisha, they use staring at me, trying to wink at me. Oh, thank you. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. All right? See, I keep telling you. They'll use these women, that's what they've been now today. The light-skinned Keishas and the darker skin quiches. Okay. Let's check in the bus schedule. I mean, it's early. 7:58, going to 8 o'clock. Look at that. 13 minutes and 15 minutes. Really? Right, look, look, look. Look. Like, really? Really? You know why? Because again, they want to engage in their psyops. They want to do their psyops, right? So you got to understand that, right? They want to do their psyops. So that is why they're delaying the bus right there, the transit bus. Okay? That's what they do. I understand what it is that they do. Oh, number 32, LCX 3260. Seen a lot of them today. Yeah, I know. Things are that bad, my brother. You got a nice vehicle and you're renting dollar cab, right? What was that? Yes, also, speaking to the TI from California. It's funny now because every time she's about to call me, or she calls me when I'm about to leave, you know, they'll use their sirens sometimes, right? If I don't answer, they'll use their sirens. Why? Because when you realize that we're being hit with microwave frequency, a radio wave frequency, silent sound. And we were just talking about that today. Now all of a sudden with her, you know, they were giving her the runaround when she was saying that she needed surgery. They were telling her, no, you don't need surgery. They were saying, you know, in your president apartment, white dude coming, or if he's white or Hispanic or not, but he's looking at his watch, so I look at my watch too. And you hear in the background, whoop, whoop, white guy. You hear? Look, you hear that? There you go. See, they are so emboldened. You might be Hispanic dude. All right? Yeah, that. So anyway, as I was saying, yeah, fuck you, a bunch of pussies. Like you do his phone. A bunch of pussies. The New York Pussy Department. Listen to that. Oh, come up here. No, come down here, New York Pussy Department. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. You are a pussy, aren't you? Yeah, you turning, huh? Hilarious. So they were telling her that she didn't need surgery and such, you know, and then she got a new neurologist, and they are trying to schedule her for surgery right away. Right? Matter of fact, I think she said that his office called and they want to do it. They want her to come in tomorrow. You know, what's wrong with this dude? You want to get hit by a car? He literally ride his bike in front of the car that was coming up here. I tell you, this the strange shit that they do, man. The shit that they do. Look. Go ahead, run that light. Go ahead, yeah. Look at that shit. Look. Right? So you guys seeing this, right? Again, this is all orchestrated. This is scripted. This is when we talk about street theater. All right, this is how this is how their behavior. This is what they do, and how they do it. All right. Now look at the car over there with its hazard lights on. Now look at the car behind it. Look at the cars in front of it. Do they have their hazard light on? Right? Do you guys see that? Okay. Right. Anyhow. So they have to schedule her. So I was telling her, I said, yeah, because that's what they'll do. They'll get other doctors to lie to downplay your injury and the severity of your injury. Okay. And I said, that's what they try to do with me. Particularly the psychological harm that they cause, and cause I'm exposing it. I said, I have to remind her. I said, there was, if you go to Google, YouTube, and there was a man and his wife, and he had bought a property next door, and the property used to belong to, I guess, the fire chief family, one of his family member, and they literally weaponized the whole town against this man and his wife. They were bombarding him with noise 24/7, right? He spent like thousands of dollars in surveillance equipment because he knew no one was going to believe him, right? And it got to the point that every time, and this went on for a long time, that he's now able to recognize the distinct sound of every vehicle that had passed by his property. And he's talking about the middle of the night, all day, all night, using the noise campaign, right? And I said to her, I said, do you understand the psychological damage they've done to this man and his wife? And she was like, how do you mean? She's like, I know they were harassing him with the noise campaign. I said, yeah, but do you understand that now every time a car honks, okay, he is referencing not only the make and model, but the distinct sound of that horn, right? Now you think about it. When you hear a car horn, you just hear a car horn. You don't try to figure out what car is making that sound. You don't try to, you're not able to differentiate whether it's a domestic car or a foreign car, right?
I'm like, you talking about like this?
And she was like, yeah, that's what you mean. I said, yeah. This is what they do to us as TI. When they use weaponized color warfare, whenever I see red, I say get angry. And I'm always saying that, right? I'm always saying get angry and be angry, right? When they use another, like they said, they use the color gray, which is a neutral color, right? It's like, I have to think about COINTELPRO and the neutralization of black people, black men and black women, that the U.S. racist white supremacists, I should say, within the U.S. government, right?
Ask him what?
With COINTELPRO, what was the purpose? To neutralize black people, right? Neutralize black people who they see as a threat. Now there's a threat to the status quo, right? Who can bring people together, right? Or if you're a political activist, they're neutralized. So gray is a reference to that, right? The color black, I talked about, right? Using it as a coercive threat, right? Also using it as a form of association to a particular person, object, emotions, right? Or thing. So understanding what it is that they do and how they're doing it. And I understand that they have orchestrated these things. Why? So they can get away with the fact that they have implanted. Right? And when you speak out about the implant and you stand up against what it is that they've done to you, then they'll retaliate and try to punish you. But here's what I say: let them try. I look at the key. Anytime. All right. So always say, let them try, because you're always, as TIs, we're going to always win. Right? When you think about the illegal and criminal action that they do, and they know it, that's why they have to engage in the retaliation. We was also talking about the retaliatory nature and the mindset, the dark triad personality types, the sadistic mindset. As I showed you guys in the video, what I did earlier, if you look at the video, you go read the description, I actually did it within the video, the sirens, you know, this is how they destroy the fabric of society. But people don't recognize it, right? Because once you have a sadistic mindset, what they are able to do is to get you to participate in a crime. That way you will never implicate yourself. Because to actually admit what it is that they're doing is an implication of the crime that they've done against us as TIs. And they will never do it. Because it's what? Human nature, right? You know? That's why in the US Constitution, particularly in law, there is a law that says that, you know, there's the protection of self-incrimination. Again, I understand how they weaponize these things against us. And I was talking about Charles Manson. I said, yeah, the reason, if you look at Charles Manson, if you go listen to the people that was in his gang, that was in his cult, and what did they say, right? That, what did he say? That he said, if I have to commit a murder, I'm going to make you do it too. I'm going to get you involved. That way, if you say anything, then what? You're implicating yourself in it also. I understand how they weaponize these things. How they weaponize their criminal mind against us. And how they will weaponize us against each other. But, you know, as usual, like I said, we as not we, but the nigger peons will never learn. Because, see, a believing mindset is one of the worst things in your person department. A believer, oh, there they go, yeah, here you go, New York Pussy Department, 4155, yeah. They don't like it when I call them New York Pussy Department, right? But they can insult you and they can create all kind of negative label. But don't you dare insult them. That's the mindset of sociopaths in position of authority. This is what they do. And to show it and prove it, you know, it's a case study for many, many decades to come. All right? Yeah. I guess he thought his car was bigger than your bus, huh? I said, I guess he thought his car was bigger than your bus. He tried to tell you get out the way. You're like, come on. It's like a dude on the bike trying to prevent a Mack truck from moving. 37. Huh? What? Yeah. Listen, that's people conditioning, man. That's, you know, that their mindset is that it doesn't matter if you're driving a bus or a truck, that if they're riding a bicycle, a scooter, or a motorbike, right, that somehow they're equal to the size of your bus, right? And it doesn't, because you know what happens if you go and you look up a believer's mindset, right, you will understand why, right? If you have a believer's mindset, you can be programmed anyhow they want to program you, because you will always believe. So you wouldn't even know, right? They will use psychology, technology to manipulate you, and you will attribute it to supernatural, right? There's something called supernatural mystical manipulation. It's when people in position of authority is when you have people in position of authority, right, who understand that you having a believer's mindset, you're going to listen and believe what it is that they're telling you, right? So they do what is called mystical and supernatural manipulation. I'll give you an example. You ever watch those evangelicals when they have what is called tent revival? So they have these religious people who they go from town to town, right? And what they do is that a month before they go to that town, they send people in that town, and they invite people, and then they find out everything they need to know about them. They find out what illnesses they have, right? If there's a death in the family or anything like that, if they're, you know, they'll go. For example, if I want to convince you, I'll send somebody to come and befriend your family members and find out a lot about you, right? Even some of the most personal information, right? And you come to that revival, and I'm calling your name. I said, you know, is there somebody in the audience named such and such, right? You raise your hand, and I'm saying, okay, you know, the Spirit is telling me that, you know, you're suffering from an illness, right? You know what I'm saying? And you go up there because you don't know, right? You're a believer, so you don't know what's going on. Are you going to believe? No, yes, you will. You will believe. Be honest, you will believe. If you go to a revival, listen. Huh? Okay, you don't believe it. Okay, but I'm just saying. But you think most people will believe, right? If they're believers, right? Exactly. So that is how they are able to get wealthy off of people who believe. You understand? Same thing in society, right? It doesn't have to be the church. It could be your local or your state law enforcement agency, right? If they huh?
If I'm quiet, right? And I tell you what I'm saying in my mind, you tell me, I don't believe what I say.
If you're a microchip,
If you can't read my mind.
if you're a microchip, they can read your mind. Listen to what I'm saying. If you are a microchip, they can read your mind.
Huh?
If you are a microchip, they can read your mind. My brother, you say you're not a believer, right? Okay. Go and look up the advancement in science and neuroscience. Right? Go and look that up. The advancement in neuroscience and what is called BCI, brain-computer interface. Okay, yeah. Right? Brain-computer interface. Not only can they read your mind, but they can put things in your mind. Put things in your mind. Okay? I'm serious. There's a technology called total dream induction, right? Using radio wave frequency, right? They are able to transmit commercials in your brain and you're sleeping, right? Listen. You got to understand science. You need to understand science, okay? You need to understand science. See, this is why a lot of us are so lost, because we don't want to know things. This is why a lot of us, particularly Negropeans, are lost, because they don't want to know anything. But when you look at the advancement of science, right? You look at the advancement of science and technology, okay? What you think is not possible has been possible, my brother. Okay? Microchipping the human mind, mapping out the human brain, right? Okay. Listen, I don't want you to believe me. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to, listen, I want you to go and look it up yourself. All right? BCI, brain-computer interface. Okay? All right. All right? Okay. And listen, they can use radio wave frequency, right, to transmit words, thoughts, and ideas into your mind, and you wouldn't even know. Right? It's what is called silent sound spread spectrum. Okay? It is a technology based on the radio wave frequency spectrum that they can co-opt your consciousness, right, and condition you to however they want to. Go and look it up. All right? Okay. No. You don't have to see it. You got to know. When you listen, and you can't see it because, okay, you got a cell phone, right? How do your cell phone communicate with other cell phones? Do you know how? Okay. See, that's a problem. All right? That's a problem. You should have a basic understanding of how these things work. Come on, ma'am. Come on. You gotta go hold the bus for too long.
Thank you.
All right? Come on. I know you're a young spring chicken. Come on. Right? So, as I say, you have to know these things. Right? Listen, I'm serious. Read an article of how your cell phone communicates. All right? And then ask, when you go to Google, ask it, how can your cell phone be weaponized against you? Right? Okay. So when you don't know anything in terms of science, that's how you don't know anything. But when you don't understand technology, right? Technology, psychology, right? It is the thing that they use the most against us to manipulate us. Do you understand? Okay? Did you hear about the two young kids that shot up the mosque? Okay? You got to stay informed, my brother. That's the whole thing. What I'm trying to tell you is that stay knowledgeable, right? Stay knowledgeable. Don't be so caught up in your life that you don't want to know anything else, right? Because it is that very same ignorance that they will use against you to manipulate you. You understand? All right? and listen, and I'm telling you this because I know better. I'm telling you this because I know better. Right? Look. Understanding, knowledge. You don't got to be an expert, but you should know how your cell phone works, how it operates, right? You ever wonder that what technology is being used? We can use our cell phone, we can talk to each other, we can watch videos wirelessly, right? There's no wires attached to it, right? What frequency is it using, right? What does it have? You know, we have a transmitter and a receiver, right? It operates in a radio wave frequency, right? Okay. So even having that basic understanding, then you should be able to know that it can be weaponized against you and I or anybody else. All right? Try to educate your young brothers, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully you guys will listen and pay attention. Listen, and don't let people use you and confuse you, okay? Go ahead, man.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
It's okay. I love it. Hold on. driver. You know, when you understand certain criteria and how they try to escape accountability for what it is that they're doing, it disarms that, really. All right? When you understand how those in positions of authority will create certain criteria to avoid any sort of accountability and what it is that they do, they will do things like that. Just because I have a conversation with the bus driver about certain aspects of what is going on in an educational level, then, you know, they will say, well, look, okay, yeah, whatever, okay. Remember, I could put up many articles on psychologically traumatized damage done by law enforcement to individuals, and you will see that even people who have been traumatized, they go out, they have a good time. Doesn't mean that they're not traumatized. They use that to help get tasks or to help deal with the fact that they're traumatized. Okay? So again, when you understand these things, they can no longer manipulate you or even try to feed you their bullshit. Now the Dans, the dumbass niggerpeans, yeah, they will continue to fool them and manipulate them. Alright? Just like how some people who are traumatized might turn to alcohol or drugs, right? Does not mean that they are not traumatized. So, but when you don't have knowledge, and you only have belief, they will keep running these, these lies and this deception and manipulation on the uninformed, right? You gotta understand what it is I do. See, I know my trauma, and I know they caused it, and I know they traumatize me every day. But I'm going to educate who is willing to listen, so that hopefully they can become more aware and start sharing that information. All right, so you're listening to your pussy department. I got y'all, like I told you. Told you, I got you. I told y'all my purpose was greater. see the green paper like that on the sofa? Oh, sorry. Alright, but like I said, my brother, listen. You a young brother, you gotta stay informed, alright? I said you a young brother, you gotta stay informed. Listen, don't stay ignorant. No, listen to me. Learn about the technology that you use. Don't just use it. Learn about them. Alright? Because if you don't, they're gonna weaponize, well, they're weaponizing against you anyway, but once you understand, it'll be hard for them to manipulate you, alright? 5, 3, 2, 8. So remember, go and look up cognitive warfare, right? And what's the other one I told you to look up? Cognitive warfare and silent sound spread spectrum. All right, man, take care, all right? All right, thank you, appreciate it. Woo. Let me tell you, when I tell you I got him, I got him. You know, here's, like I said, you know, those in positions of authority will always do things to try to get away with it. Just as how MK Ultra, what did they do? Instead of admitting it, what did they do? They said, oh, destroy the documents, right? But someone had enough good common sense, even though they say that it was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. Someone had enough good common sense to not destroy all of the documents that prove that the U.S. government was engaging in what? Non-consensual human experimentation, particularly for mind control, also to develop microchips to implant and control people. See? I keep saying they will get new recruits because they don't know. But I'm going to educate them. What I always say. I say whoever they send, I'm going to educate them. So the minute I started talking to the bus driver, you see them coming in the bus, looking at the bus driver and looking at me, right? I'll tell you. Hilarious. They gotta laugh, man. They gotta laugh. And Negropeans, the Dans, right, don't quite really truly understand. That's why I said we have to hold these churches accountable and these pastors accountable. Right? Because they are going to lead us to our own detriment, right? We have no black leaders anymore because they've made sure of it. And the churches are a big reason why. One of the big, I should say one of, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why. All right? You know, I don't know, like I said, Negropeans, you know, it's why they're sheeps. You stand in the church, you read the Bible, you read about Jesus turning over the money table in the temple because, you know, he forbid, it was against the law, right? Yet you go in church today and they're doing the same thing, right? I mean, go figure, right? The Bible talks about the priests and the Pharisees who have taken knowledge away from the people, leading to the people's destruction, to their ignorance. You go in the church today and the black church today is a mockery, right? Your Bible tells you my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, right? And yet the people today, with all the knowledge available, right? With all the knowledge available, they reject knowledge. So if you claim you believe in this book, then why do you reject knowledge? Why do you reject the truth? Right? You claim that Jesus came to tell the truth and speak the truth. That's not what Jesus came to do. That's not what he came to do. Jesus never said that. Okay? He never said that. Jesus clearly states that I came not to abolish the law, right? But to fulfill the law, which he didn't do anyway, because, you know, he was a failed Messiah. Right? See, I am not a Messiah. Not in the sense that, you know, in the religious sense, right? I am my own Savior. I am Messiah in that sense. You are your own Savior. We are each other's Saviors. But we can't be saviors to ourselves and each other when we lack knowledge. This is why your Bible tells you my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because they have become too religious, too superstitious. The one thing that the Bible speaks about not being is the very thing that we are today. Religious and superstitious. Right? And shout out to Dr. Ray Hagen. You know, very, very intelligent black elder. All right, if you want to talk about a Messiah, that's one right there. All right, again, shout out to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. If you want to talk about a Messiah, that's one right there. All right, shout out to all the great Messiahs that we cannot recognize because we have become too religious and too superstitious. All right, some of them has been, you know, went back to the ancestors, or to the universe, whatever you want to call it. Some of them are still here today, older, wiser, but they have been attacked in many ways, sabotaged in many ways. All right, talk about the great Minister Louis Farrakhan. And when in an interview, and he said, well, Gaddafi was going to give the Nation of Islam $1 billion, the United States government said no. Why not? Why not? Right? And it was a loan. For what? For black economic upliftment. The U.S. government said no. Right? Yet we do not seem to comprehend the gravity and the severity of certain people in position of power in this nation that do not want to see us succeed. Not only they do not want to see us succeed, but they have conditioned our minds to not want to see each other succeed. Because the people who they allow to succeed don't do anything for us. Number 32, right there, Tesla. Right? The people who they are allowed to succeed don't do anything for us. Yeah, fuck you. They're the sirens. This is the truth. And if you guys cannot recognize their playbook, then how are we going to win? Or at least how are we going to even the score? Then we're always going to be even. I mean losing, not even. Right? How can we win or even the score when we don't want to learn their playbook? Right? And that is why we are always losing. See, like I said, I'm not afraid. They can threaten me, what have you. I'm not afraid. Because I've seen their playbook. I've exposed their playbook. Right? If you don't know your enemy, how are you going to defeat your enemy? If you don't know your enemy, how are you going to stop your enemy from assaulting you? Right? When nigger parents talk about love in their heart and mind, they don't have no love in their damn heart and mind. They don't. You know what love is? Love is standing up for yourself, your family, your people, in the face of threats, assaults, poison, false accusation, right? And still standing up for your people. Willing to die, standing up for your people. That's love. But we are taught to reject that kind of love. Right? The only love we want is the people who lie to us, right? That we see as love, or we view as love. Right? That's the only kind of love we want. When they when they lie to us and try to manipulate us, right? Right? That's the kind of love. When they say good things to us, they make us feel good. We call that love, even though it's lies. Right? Our feeling trumps everything, huh? And that's why we continue to lose. That's why we continue to be pitted against each other.
Empire this, driver. Empire this. Driver, this Empire this. Driver. Excuse me, driver, is this Empire stop? Is this Empire? Is this stop Empire?
Winthrop.
Oh, Winthrop. We don't reach here yet, right? Thank you.
Taking a mighty long time. So as soon as the guy got up and asking about his empire, the dude come out and he opened up his car door. Right? And close it multiple times. I tell you. Empire, right?
Yeah.
Stand by.
Is it?
I just said to you, it's Empire.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Take it easy. You take it. Oh shit! I just bent my neck. You heard that crack? That was very loud. So I'm surprised you said. I'm surprised you didn't say anything to him. He was asking for Empire. I said he was asking you for Empire.
This ain't my regular route, so I don't know the names probably.
What?
I only know the stops.
Wow. Oh, the stop is Empire and Schenectady. No, what is it? I'm sorry, East New York, man. Oh, I gave him the wrong name. So yeah, you gotta walk a block up. I think you might get off of Utica. So you won't have to walk back 2 blocks. You just have to walk back 1 block. Last night or the night before, one of those nights. WBL 36, 32. Yeah, I think I remember that dude from either one night during this week. He wanted Empire in Utica, which is over there. So you don't have to. You guys did do things to try to test my memory. I wonder why you were standing there looking at me like that. Trying to jog that memory. Thank you. Have a good night. Oh yeah, so yeah, I think no wonder why he was staring at me like that. He came on the side of me, and he was like a good 3 stops away from Utica, East New York, which is Empire, because the way how the block is shaped, it narrows, it comes to like a point. So he had to walk up. But I remember, as I'm saying, I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, where do I know him from? Because he was staring at me like, why is he staring at me? And I was like, okay, I see what they're doing. I see what they're doing. You know, I talk about this, right? How they will try to do things to jog my memory, and that they'll use that as an excuse to try to say they have not caused me any cognitive harm. I can tell you, man, you see, if I was in that position that they're in, okay, they should know better than that. They should know that, and they do know it because they've done this to many people, and know that, you know, even though some of us may not suffer as much memory loss as others, you're still cognitively damaged. You still suffer from memory loss, but they will do things to minimize the to try to minimize the damage per se as to what they believe the damage is, not from what they know. All right. So when you start to understand the mindset of those people who do these things and the scenarios in which that they will engage in and the narrative in order to create the circumstances so they can implement their agenda, You gotta truly know their minds. And that doesn't mean that you have to be an expert in psychology. But if you study your targeting, the type of subliminal message that they're feeding into your mind, what it is that they're saying to you, right? And the controlling aspect of it, right? What happened? What happened? You walking the wrong way? You don't know which way you're going? Huh? I guess you don't know which way he's going. Look. Look, you gotta walk all the way over here just to show me his phone. What does it say? Magic? It ain't no magic. It ain't magic. See how they do these things? It ain't magic. It is technology, covert warfare, covert manipulation, and covert psychological manipulation. All right? See, they can fool these believers, like I say, but once you have that knowledge, they cannot fool you. Right? Once you have that knowledge, they cannot fool you. Once you understand, and just in case the car horn that you hear going off is the vehicle over there. Nobody over here now. All right, look, see? You see that? So they're sitting in there, wherever it is that they are, using their remote. Right? Oh, look, empty water bottle. Look, say y'all knew, huh? You know I'm going to do that. You know I'm going to do. All right? They're trying to use her as a threat. There you go. FLI 6800. I guess a dude over there, huh? So I pointed to him. Look. Moving truck. All right? Moving truck. See, because they've done this already. Now tell me, what's the sense of him, right? Look. See? See? What's the sense of him pressing that remote so many times? You see, when I try to explain to you guys these things, I want you guys to understand why they do it. It is a form of coercive threats, because again, it's a gray vehicle. And I talk about the gray vehicle being a color that's neutral. So when they want to send me subliminal message about them neutralizing me, right? And how do they do it? When you look at COINTELPRO, you look at the FBI war against black activists and people who they say could be a leader or what have you within the black community. And when you look at black people as a whole, right? You look at the scholars, the black scholars, how they've neutralized them, right? How they've reduced their influence, right? From the rest of us, right? So now most of black people don't even understand what they went through, what they were put through, how they were sabotaged, how they tried to destroy their credibility, right? Or how their credibility was destroyed, okay? One of the things that I always remember, Dr. Yosef Ben Jacobin, he always says, I know my struggle is because of the knowledge that I have. He said, because there are those that don't want you to know what I know. There are those that will fight against me trying to teach you the truth about who you are as a people. Right? There are those who have taken your history and passed it off as their own. Right? And will do anything to keep you asleep. So that, look. She looking over there. Don't worry. I mean, listen, like I keep telling you, whoever they use, I'm going to put them, I'm going to expose them. Right? So it doesn't matter if they're Negropean, if they're Hasidic Jews, if they're Caucasian male, and these are Caucasians also, the Hasidic Jews. But I'm just talking about I'm not talking about their color. I'm talking about their cultural identity, right? Or their religious identity, right? So Negropeans, Hasidic Jews, Hispanopeans, right? Anybody who they use, I'm going to expose. Doesn't matter who. Could be family member, could be friends. Well, I don't really have a lot of friends. Actually, I have no friends except for Alda. She's a TI. She's about the only friend that I have as a TI, because we've been in communication for years. So we've gone through the arguments, you're a perp. No, you're a perp. All that stuff right here. You're a perp to the department. So when I started to explain to her the when I started to explain to her how this technology is being used to manipulate us, and she started to realize it. So we always come up with a plan that if we feel that we are being manipulated against each other, we'll hang up and we'll call each other, and so forth. And we continue to do that to this day. That's something that we've learned over the years of speaking to each other. So like I said, there's very few people that I can have the kind of conversation that her and I have, and that also includes my brother, right? My twin brother, because he's a target also. So, But anyhow, like I said, it doesn't matter who they use. Why is he standing here? You trying to get in the building?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Oh shit! I gotta open up the other. Right. You got it. But yeah, as I was saying, so you got, as a TI, you gotta listen. They may have destroyed most of our lives, and I will say that they have. Right? They may have tried to destroy our character, assassinate us, and this is again something that we have to confront. Right? Because they don't want you to do anything that's positive and that's good, because it goes against their narrative. Okay? It goes against their narrative. And their narrative is to villainize you and to do it in such a way that people will not recognize, except for those who have been through it, those who have inside information about it, and those who are really, truly trying to find out what's happening and are taking the time to do the research of the information that we give them. Just as how they have given us information. I could not know about the dark triad personality traits if it wasn't for people who wrote about these traits, and these type of personalities. I would not have known about the technology that was developed by the US government, as well as the military-industrial complex, and as well as private tech companies, without the people who are involved in the creation of these technologies writing papers about it, research papers. Also, because they also want to expose that the technology that they helped create is being used for nefarious means. Okay, so I have to thank them. Right? I would not know about behavioral modification if it wasn't for hospitals, right, putting up sign that says behavioral modification. Okay, so like I said, there's some things I always remember when I'm being steered, in a certain direction. All right, when I'm being manipulated, and at the time didn't know how I was being manipulated, but now I do. So now it is very difficult for them to manipulate me. And I give you an example of tonight. Pam comes home, I'm in the kitchen, she turned towards me and just opens up her blouse, her dress actually, right? And she's wearing a bodysuit underneath. You know what I'm saying? But the behavior she exhibits whenever she's going out on a date, let's say a day or two, is one of, I'm wearing shorts. I'm not doing all of that, right? I'm not bending over in front of you or nothing like that. Not in my underwear, nothing like that. But a day or two later, she starts the behavior over again. And I keep telling her, I said, you have to understand how you are being manipulated. But listen, there's some people that you just cannot make understand, because their personality has been changed to the point where, you can't recognize them. Teenage boys, Right? So again, once that happened with my daughter, all of a sudden I start to see all these young teenage boys that are, because they'll always, like I said, they'll always orchestrate things and then use it and weaponize it, right? So again, even today on our way back to the apartment, this is why they hack into my phone and end the recording. Though when I look at my phone right now, the timer is there, just like how on our way home. So they are able to keep the timer going and the screen on, but the phone is not recording anything. That is how they do these things. So here in New York, Predator Department, I said the phone is not recording anything. Let me tell you, you know, they're so slick, right? There was a time, was it maybe a year or two ago, when I was recording videos and uploading it, and for an entire month they were blocking my videos from uploading onto YouTube. For an entire month. And why didn't I have the presence of mind to always make sure and check? Because now I do, right? So ever since that happened, now I check, right? But what they'll do also is that I'll see the notifications that says video uploaded, right? And then I'll wake up the next morning, and I go to my phone, and it will say 2 of my videos didn't upload. So these are the type of tricks and tactics that they use and how they manipulate things. And I talk about they're manipulators, they're deceivers, and they're liars. And that is why I will always win. That is why you, as a targeted individual, will always win. Because they don't want to face the admit to the crimes that they have committed of non-consensual human experimentation, of illegal microchipping, of engaging in cognitive and neurocognitive warfare, right? Recruiting civilians to engage in criminal activities against us, making false accusation, right? Putting a litany of false charges, right, on a police report. All crimes in itself. And because, like I said, hear the sirens, and because they're in a position of authority, they get away with it, right? I say no. They are not going to get away with it. I won't let them. And you shouldn't let them either. Talk to you guys in the next video.